Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. I was about to say happy Thursday because most days I don't know what day it is, but amen. It's another day above ground. So we are happy and we are excited and we are thrilled, super thrilled to be here. Again, hello, every beautiful body out there. My name is Blair G. Hervey. I am the founder and CEO of The Corporate Strategist. As always, I'm joined by my colorful co-host, my bestie, my soul friend of 20 plus years, The Corporate Strategist, independent consultant, DEIBA speaker for hire, self-proclaimed diversity geek, D'Angelo Crane. Hi, D.
Well, hello, my fellow Diva speaker extraordinaire. How are you doing today? Always glad to be here with you and share a little light, love, and laughter with the Diva Collective stage. Yeah, it's another day, another dollar, and it's just only Tuesday. Yes.
Honey, it's another day, another dollar. Make you want to what?
Holla.
Yeah.
What?
Just trying to make sure we were really in sync and we're really the friends that we say that we are, honey. So I am super fantastic. Oh, I guess I could wait for you to ask the question.
Oh, you already have leaned into it. Maybe you need to go ahead because you're ready for it. Go ahead. Well, you usually have another spiel before this.
Well, you know what? I usually say, and a big welcome to our special guest, but our special guest today is me and you.
I thought you. No, we're together. I thought you said the Diva Collective spiel. Okay, forget it. Okay.
Yeah, I usually say, and a big welcome to our special guest. We are so excited to have you, D'Angelo and Blair. Welcome everyone to the Black Diva Collective Live.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yes, that's why I was waiting. That's my cue. Okay, now it's my cue for you to say, okay, now we have my sunny segment of the day.
What a blessing. We've been doing this so long. It has become a habit. And you know, they say it takes 21 days for something to become a habit. And I love how, if anything, if nothing else, we have our sunny segment that's a habit. We ask the question very deeply, not only here, but like in other spaces. And I think turning on our energy has definitely become a habit. I'm sure a lot of people out there can already relate to turning it on. But you know, I'm kind of proud of ourselves. What you think?
We turn on for the people. We turn on for the people. Okay, but I gotta say one thing I'm excited about today is you can't see my shirt for my name tag today. I have on my equality shirt. Look at that. Isn't that cute? Yes. I think I got from a black designer too. You know I'm all about it. Okay.
I love that. I love that. And we're getting some love in the comments already. Hi, Lawrence. We're so happy to see you. We're so happy to see all of you all. And we're really excited to get into this conversation. We love a good impromptu talk, honey.
Speaking of that, all right. So, as we do here every day on the Black Diva Collective, we do what we call the art of the check-in. And why do we do that? Because we're asking leaders if you want to build trust, vulnerability, engagement, belonging, and empathy on your team. It really starts with you getting to know each and every one of your employees and your colleagues. And so we do that here at the Black Diva Collective by saying, Blair, how's your light? I'm all tongue twisted today. How is your heart, your soul, your mind, and your hair today?
My hair is great. So I figured out a new style. I just got one of these headbands that I had given to my son. So it's giving me like a, middle part situation. I'm usually a side part girl, but it's giving me like preppy, sweet, okay. All the things that I am or am not any given day.
You got a little off the shoulder situation. We see you right there.
Absolutely. And I always forget this tattoo. I think y'all can see it here, but I remember getting this tattoo after a very tumultuous time in my life, and it says peace backwards. So when I look in the mirror, I can actually see the word peace, and it's a little dove. And then on my shoulder, I have in Aramaic, actually, Talitha Kumi, which is from the verse in the Bible. I can never remember the verse, but the book of Matthew, where Jesus goes to the young girl. She was 12 years old and she had already died. And everybody was trying to rush Jesus. Jesus, come to the girl before she dies. And then when he got there, he takes his time. He comes when he's supposed to come. And when he came, what did he do? He brought the young girl back to life. And so that really resonated with my spirit because, I was 12 years old when my mother passed away. And I felt like, God's hands has been all over my life. And it just reminds me to, that he's going to come for me. He's going to say, rise up, young girl. And that's what Talitha Kumi means. So, yeah.
Oh, and I think he's already doing that each and every day is asking you to rise up, young woman that you are now. Hello, somebody. Yes.
So, yes, I'm feeling super fantastic, D. How is your head? How's your heart? How's your soul today?
I'm pretty good. Lots going on, as you know. in our world. Tomorrow we'll talk more about our summer refresh and recap on 60 days, 60 shows tomorrow that we're going to be celebrating tomorrow. So we'll talk more about that and what's to come and the road to getting here. But today, to be very honest with everyone, our guest for the day had something out of his control that happened today, so we will rebook him for a later show. So we were talking today, literally 2 hours ago, about what we were going to talk today about.
I get excited.
No, I'm not excited. You know what? Actually, so we decided, anyhow, today we're talking about vision. And you probably heard this quote before: vision without passion is a picture without possibilities, by John Maxwell. Right, I know. And so, Blair, when I was thinking about having this conversation, as I've been like, what am I going to say? What do I want to talk about when I talk about vision? I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about my relationship to having vision, right? And I was thinking to myself, is my relationship to vision, um, has it been shaped by the experiences that have been happened to me and not the experiences I've created, right? And so I think you and I talk about this all the time, is that we have two different things about things. I'm a person who believes life happens to you and you just lean into it. And probably I'm definitely also a person who's like, well, shoot, if I can't go down that street, I'll just, whatever other street I go down is where I'm gonna end up at. Where other people may say, even if I have to take a detour, I'm still going to get to this end goal. So I was thinking about this today. I just was like, yeah, I wonder if my relationship to having a vision for my life, do I have purpose? Which we can talk about the difference between purpose and vision. Okay. Do I have purpose? Yes. But did I have a vision for where I wanted my life to be at? Maybe I did at one point, but do I still have that? So when you thought about this, when you think about vision, and what I put in our Instagram post is having vision in the midst of the fog. What does that mean to you, having vision in the midst of the fog?
It means hope. Because, sometimes and oftentimes we walk through life and things become very foggy. And like you said, we could hit a detour. It could be relationships. It could be work. It could be, a plethora of different things that change the way that we see or the outlook for that particular moment. And if you don't have vision, then you're lost. You are not only in fog, but it's also dark. And so vision for me is always hope. So, I believe that the universe, and not calling God the universe, whatever y'all choose to say, but I say the universe, God, Mother Earth, our ancestors, I say our spiritual guides, I use all of them to help me make decisions in my life and to guide that vision or develop that vision. So I think that that's part of it, is having that belief that it's already done. Once it's on the card, it's already done. So I just have to walk into it. So what is your relationship to that belief?
Well, no, I was thinking about it. And I was thinking that maybe for me, a vision is also, can I see in the midst of the fog? So not that I need to see out of my way of the fog, but can I see it? Can I see around the fog? Can I see my next step in the fog? Right. So I don't necessarily need to see that I'm going to make it to the end goal. I have necessarily the hope that I'm going to make it to the end goal, or that I'm going to get to it. But right now I'm having the faith that I can exist in the fog.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that sometimes I think about vision, I think that, yes, I think there's, because we talk about short-term and long-term vision, right? When you're thinking about your goals of vision. So maybe I have been in a space of always having short-term vision, because long-term vision seems very daunting to me, right? And especially when you're experiencing things that are out of your control, then you have to navigate that. So it's better just for me to say, I'm just gonna have a short-term vision because I can deal with the next 6 months. But what happens if I decide to deal with the next 4 years and a whole lot of fog is thrown my way?
See, and I think the opposite, because there is an element of, control for me. That's definitely one of my saboteurs, is being a controller. But I think it's also one of my strengths and my gifts when I leverage it in a healthy way. And so that allows me to feel like there's some control over my life. I may not be able to control anything else. I may not be able to control the fog, the density of the fog, when I'll see it, when it's going to come, what turn. But what I can control is those headlights are going to go on. Those headlights, I'm going to be able to see through the fog. And even if I can't see, thousands of feet in front of me, I can see far enough for me to keep moving. And so that's what vision does for me. And then the belief part of that is believing that the fog is either going to end or that my light is going to shine so brightly, the headlights are going to become so bright that I'm going to be able to see much further. And that gives me a little bit more excitement.
Ooh. Ooh.
So
Ooh.
that's why, when I think about like moments, like we shared some things this morning. I won't share the vision because I don't believe it's for me to share just yet with everyone. But someone spoke life into me last night. I think that's what vision does for you as well.
Yeah, but I also think I would add to that is that as we were thinking about this platform, right? I did not have this in my sights for any stretch of the imagination. And I've hosted a lot of shows and a lot of different conversations. I've even hosted a radio show at my own company. That wasn't in my plan or my vision at all. My vision, I would say to you, I would think about how I always think about how do things fall in line with my purpose. And it may not be my vision, because that's the other thing I want to talk about. Because there's a lot of people, if you think about Oprah Winfrey, if you think about Tyler Perry, if you think about these really people who've had these visions of where their life was going to be and what they were going to do, there had to be some people who believed in their vision and supported them through that. And that's what I think about when I was thinking about we're talking about the vision for this yesterday. And I said, well, I didn't see a vision for this. You saw that vision. And you were like, well, why did you decide to do it? And I think about two things. I think about it was in line with my purpose and what I love to do. And it also excited me about following someone else's vision and what they think is bigger than the space that we're in. So sometimes it's about people pushing you, right? About pushing you outside of that norm or that comfort space. But it's also sometimes about if you're okay with linking on and going along with someone else's vision because it aligns with your purpose, how that may start to give you even more vision for your own life.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that. And I think I'm one of those people that I'm constantly challenging people to develop either their vision, their purpose, their passion, all of those things. So I encourage you, even when you have found a place in someone else's vision, I encourage you to find, yes, your purpose, you're walking in your purpose, but what is your vision within that vision? So as an example, like within this, it could be, hey, Blair, you may have a big vision of seeing us as being invited media to the BET Awards or to Afrotech. You may have this big vision of us being on the Black Network Effect, podcast network. You may have this big vision of us being mentored by Charlemagne the God. And I do. Those are all part of my big visions, right? But within that, Blair, my vision is to develop a couple of different skill sets. One skill set, I want to be able to wing it, right? I want to be able to turn it on, be purposeful, be impactful in those moments. Another vision I see for myself is to be a world-class speaker. From this, I can start networking and meeting people and being much more comfortable in doing so, and then creating a platform for myself where I'm talking about the things that are important to me. And I'm getting paid for that. So I just encourage you, while you're following someone else's dreams, to also have dreams of your own. Otherwise, what if my dream is just like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to do the Black Diva Collective anymore. You should still have that purpose within yourself or that vision within yourself. Well, okay, well, how do I redirect my vision to a different platform?
Yeah, and see, I'm gonna push back just a little bit because I still believe that it's about that if you understand your purpose, then so many things are possible within your vision, right? So I think it's one of those things of understanding if things are in line to your purpose, then that can be also when I think about vision, when I was looking this up about writing a personal vision statement, identify your strengths, reflect on your values, get a different point of view, evaluate your skills, and select kind of where you want to go to with it, right? And so I just always think about, for me, it really is about for me, what things bring me joy. Okay. What things excite me, what things are aligned to my strengths. And so as much as I love talking to people, I as much as one day, yes, I would be grateful to be on the stage talking to thousands of people. I also understand how nerve-wracking that is, and maybe how better for me it would be just to have these great one-on-one conversations, right? So I just think it's about, as like I said, as long as it's aligned with your purpose for your life and your passion for your life, I think your vision, what I would say is, don't let anyone else determine how big or small your vision is. because that vision may be big for you, and
Yeah.
it may be small. Someone else may say that's small, but you're like, that's a big vision for me. That's my growth and development. That's where I want to get at, and it's serving the purpose of what I want to do for my life.
Yeah, I would say yes and. I mean, because I believe truly, yes, you should live a life that is fulfilling to you. That's period.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
The end.
Right.
I also strongly believe if you do not have the people around you to encourage you to dream big, to think bigger, to have a vision that blows your mind away and blows you away, that you sell yourself short. And Karen always says this, my good friend Karen Foster. She says, I want to leave this earth knowing that I've wasted nothing.
Mm.
And and she put on my post most recently when I was sharing that I'm going to France, I'm going to study fashion. It's a 20-year-old goal. I never really had, well, not never, but I didn't currently have a goal attached to that, but there was an opportunity and I want to follow my passion, of course, and see where that purpose takes me, where my purpose takes me in that. And she put on the post, she was just like, God wastes nothing. And I felt that. And so with that, I think about that, and I think about the intersection of spending time with Justin. You know, Justin and I, you know, he was on the show, I think just last week or so, and we came up together in, you know, the sales game, I would say. You know, he was doing sales before I was, but, you know, a good portion of our time knocking on doors was spent together. And I've seen the trajectory of his career, and he's brought me along in different environments where I'm seeing celebrities, meeting celebrities. I'm meeting people that he's grown up with who are now multimillionaires. But I particularly remember one moment when we were, who knows where, in Atlanta somewhere. And he puts this, I want to say $95,000. I don't want to put a number on it. Well, I just did. But a very expensive Rolex on my arm. And he was just like, he puts it on my arm. It was his. He puts it on my wrist, and he was like, "No, just hold on to it for a minute." And we're just riding somewhere, and I just keep looking at it. And it's heavy, and I'm just looking, and I'm like, "This thing is expensive. You know, this is cute or whatever." But as time went on, I was just like, "Oh, this is cute. You know, this is cute." And he was like, "Yeah, you know." And eventually, I gave it back to him. He never asked for it back. And I was like, "Man, you know, we're about to go in somewhere here, take this Rolex back," and I will never forget that. And in doing so, I went and got something that was on my budget and on my level. I got me a little Movado, honey, a little $600 something. But that was a lot for me.
That's right. Yes.
But what it taught me was it was exposure. It was one of those moments where it was just like, Blair, treat yourself. Blair, you should have some type of fine jewelry because, you know, for me, you're a woman, you know, you should have something that's, you know, feminine. And also you don't have to rely on anybody or wait on anyone to do that for you. So it just expanded, and it's something very small, and I know it's materialistic, but for me, it expanded my mindset. And I said, oh, this is possible. And then I put a Rolex on my goals as well.
So Blair, I have a question for you. And I think this will be helpful for even people who are not entrepreneurs or who are working for an organization and trying to build out these big visions of what DEI could look like within the organizations. What happens when you hit some pitfalls and you have some failures, or you miss those milestones in your vision? How do you recover from that? How do you get back up from that? How do you say, I can still see the end when it's, like I said, when you're in the midst of the fog and the fog is like all around, you can't even see in front of you? What happens then?
Well, I think about a couple of different things. The one thing that I've definitely mentioned is having people that speak life into you. So again, whether it's exposure, whether it's, you know, their philosophy of, you know, not wasting anything and knowing that, hey, this may not be, you know, the moment. Like what does Kirk Franklin say? A delay is not a denial, right? Mm-hmm. So in knowing and having those people around you and people that continue to challenge you, you know, you might fall, but they're going to be the ones to pick you up, or you can be the ones to pick you up and they can dust you off. I think that's really important to have people around you. I think the other is some of the things that you mentioned is like having that charter. So you have that charter. We know what our milestones are. At Salesforce, we used to call it a V2 mom, right? So there was vision, values, you had your methods, you had your obstacles, and you had your measurements. And so in that, you knew quarter over quarter, or you may have a yearly V2 mom, but you knew there's going to be another quarter. You know, as long as we're still breathing, there's another quarter. So if we miss that goal, we anticipated this obstacle. So we know what to do next when we encounter that. I think the other part of that is the measurement in that. everything doesn't have to be measured in, I mean, of course, there are going to be CEOs out there that think differently, obviously, and, CROs, but everything doesn't have to be measured in, necessarily business impact or revenue.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about how we measure success, have we done that? Have we accomplished that? And that way you can go to that thing that was written down, and there's power in that too. Writing it down makes it real. So you go to that thing that's written down and you say, well, we weren't able to accomplish this, this, and this, but we were able to make this impact here. How can we dive deeper? How can we explore how to continue to expand on this particular idea going into the next quarter? So I believe it's having the people around you. It's definitely having that purpose written down. And it's definitely figuring out how to measure that purpose as well. So I was trying to make it a 3P, but
I know you was ready for it. Yes. PPM.
So I mean, I would ask you, because I know sometimes I definitely have that moment of judgment. Again, that's a saboteur that we all have. We all tend to judge ourselves when we judge others. But I have that moment of judgment, and whether it's my friends or the people around me, I'm like, well, you are thinking too small. Go expose yourself. Go do the thing that's uncomfortable. When you come up against a person like me or a me, and you are now at the intersection of what I put up a post most recently between like grit and grow. Like, do I grind this out? Do I get real gritty? Do I learn all the things? Or do I really take this path of growth? How do you face that? Or do you just be like, man, I'm gonna go watch Netflix. I ain't worried about y'all.
No, I think what I've learned about life is that with anything, you take what you need from it, right? I don't think we have to take everything that people give to us, because sometimes people are reflecting upon us what they need to do for themselves. So sometimes it's like, don't give that to me, keep that over there, right? But like people say, a broken clock is right, twice a day, right? So some people in your life, they might be right twice a day, or twice what they tell you sometimes, or sometimes they're gonna have some good information to give to you. And I think it's also about having people around you. When you talk about the people, it's people around you who act with positive intent. Yeah. So they're coming to you to feed into you, to help you grow. But also, on the other hand, I think in those type of relationships, people have to understand you have to be ready for that too, for that next move, right? And you have to be ready to push yourself and say, I'm ready for the next move. But also, so I think it's about having people around you that, like you said, are going to act with positive intent and give you some feedback, really being thoughtful about the things that are going to help you along your journey. Some things can be hurtful on your journey. So be able to discern the difference between the two things that people are giving to you and sharing with you in your life. And then I also think about asking them, well, how can you help me along this journey, right? If you're coming to me saying, hey, I see this vision for you that's a little bit bigger, what do you need to do to go on that? And often, I think it's often for many people, it's the fear of that, right? It's the fear of doing something different, or that you're not used to, or whatever, right? And I think you said it to me, is that sometimes you just gotta, how the quote goes, you gotta do it with fear. You just gotta do it with fear and jump off the cliff and just hope that there's gonna be a landing at the end of the bottom of the ocean or wherever you get to, right? I know that's not a good statement, but you see what I'm saying. So that's what I think it is too, is that I think it's just really about sometimes you talk about having hope, and it's also about having that faith. And that's when I think about the choices, when I've decided just to jump and just do it with fear. It's been also, I've done it with faith. Maybe that's why I should say do it with faith, not do it with fear.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, we could think about a different way or a positive way to spin that, but I totally agree with you. But I would say, do it bold, do it broke, or do it bold or broken. Depending on what your situation is. Sometimes I do, and I always forget about this tattoo, and I'll tell you personally why I always forget where it is. But it says "Cassé mais guéri," which is French for broken but healed. And I got that. I can't even remember. It was a very short period of my time. I can't remember when I got it, but I got that tattoo just to remind me again, when I'm thinking about the work that I want to do and the things that I want to do, I don't have to do it perfectly. And I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to be, highly educated, Stanford, I don't have to be HBCU educated as much as I probably wanted to have been. I don't have to, have all of the credentials. And that's not necessarily broken, but it's not completely put together. I don't have to. And so I think that that's really important. And going back to the P word that you keep using, which is purpose, is knowing what your purpose is. So let me ask you that. What is your purpose?
Oh, I've been very simple in life to make
Okay.
other people happy because I love that. I love it. Just very simple, just to make other people happy because I get very much joy out of people when I think about my event planning days and when I think about when I get feedback from friends or employees that say, "Oh my goodness, thank you for helping us do this," or talking on our behalf. Those are the things that really motivate me. But I was thinking of something you said, Blair, about I was thinking about vision, and I think about maybe this is my vision. Maybe my vision is going to be just say yes. Because I was thinking one day about when we were just talking about facing your fears and faith. I was thinking about when we were at Lewis's birthday, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not jumping out of an airplane with you all. This is not in line with my vision for myself. I don't know what's happening at the end of there." But then there was just a moment I was just like, "Why not?" And I think that's what sometimes we got to do, like you said, is just do it brokenness, whatever it may be, in whatever state you're in, just do it, right? As Nike's slogan goes, just do it. And then after you do it, if you don't like it, then you don't ever have to do it again, right? Because I'm never jumping out of a plane probably again. But I can say, girl, I don't like heights, but I can say I did it. I committed to doing it. I just said yes, I did it. And so maybe the vision is sometimes you just gotta say yes. Say yes. Yeah. Well, okay. It just came to my mind as I was thinking about that moment of how fearful I was to jump out of that plane, baby.
Listen, and meanwhile, I wanted to do it again. Like I wanted to go right afterwards. And he was like, "Well, if all of y'all go, then we can." I was like, "Y'all want it?" And you were like, "No, it's time."
I'll wait for y'all down here. I've done it. I'm gonna have a drink.
But I think that I truly align with the Sagittarius in us, or who we are as Sagittarius. Very optimist. My name means wanderer of the plain. Blair means wanderer of the plain, and Gerar, my middle name is Gerara. If anybody was wondering what the G is for, but Gerar was a country in biblical times, right? So I feel like every part of me is searching for meaning, is an explorer, not an Ocean Gate explorer, RIP, but I am the type of explorer and adventurer who just wants to push myself. I'm going camping in Bend, Oregon. Did I tell you this? I'm going camping.
Yeah, you invited me to go camping with you, and I was like, that's not one of those things I'm gonna say yes to. Maybe another day.
And then right after that, I'm going to Bali, for a yoga retreat. But what I also realized yesterday, as it pertains to vision, you manifest, I believe, you manifest or you co-create the life that you're living, good, bad, or ugly. So
but you gotta sit down and do it though. I think that's the other thing. You gotta sit down and sometimes we are so busy living life, we never sit down to manifest life. And so I think sometimes you just gotta sit down and sit with yourself and do that manifesting and that visioning out.
Well, if you want something different, yeah. But I mean, no matter where you are right now, this is the life that you said that you wanted to live. Now you may look around and be like, that's not what I said. But the steps, the way that you spent money, the places you went, the people that you spent time with, all of those things have created the life that you wanted to live. So when you lack vision, when we lack vision, then we can't truly live the life that we want to live. So I think back to your point, you got to sit down with yourself and be like, these are the things that I want to happen. You're going to experience some bumps in the road. But there is this quote real quick, and I know you want to say something. There's a quote that says something to the tune of a man, but I would say a person, but a person who lacks vision will always return to their past, or a person who lacks vision will always return to something pleasurable or something like that. So
no, this is a two-part conversation because I would say, yeah, I would not say that 20 years ago I thought I was going to be here. I would say the one thing I knew I was going to live in DC at one point in my life. I did say that at one point in my life I'm going to live in DC. Yes. I would not say the road to getting here.
I didn't say that. But you did say that you would live in DC, and you also said, and you also manifested your personal life. I'll put it that way. And specifics in your personal life. So I think it's about where we actually decide to spend the energy. I manifested a lot of things in my career and
Mm-hmm.
where I live. I knew, I mean, God said US was not going to be the last stop. I knew I was going to, manage a team. So when that opportunity became available, even though it was in the Pacific Northwest, I let that vision guide me. And so,
Ooh, such a yeah. I know. This, like I said, I think this is a continuous conversation because it goes back to what I said at the first part, is that you have planned a destined your life, or you said here's the things that are going to happen based on what I want to happen, and I'm just like, oh, it's just, this came to me and I'm just going to go with the wind and do it. And so that's just two different way of looking at things, which is so interesting. But like I said, it's still, to your point, I wonder, and like I said, this is a two-part conversation. We'll come back in August, we'll talk more about it. But does that mean it's not a vision if you just kind of go with what life is presenting to you? So that's I don't know the answer to that. I'm gonna work on that when we're on summer refresh. But you all, we will be back tomorrow and Thursday. We have 2 more shows before summer refresh. Tomorrow we're going to talk and reflect on the last wonderful 60 days that we spent together for our kind of first season. I don't know how you would say, but first season of the Black DEIBA Collective live. So come back tomorrow. We're going to share lots of appreciation. I should have been like, we should have some surprises, but I don't think we have any surprises. But we're going to have a great show tomorrow.
we should have some. Well, we're going to have this vision. We're going to manifest that we're going to have some surprises. So we're going to get y'all together. Do you have a shout out for us today?
I do have a shout out for today, and shout out to someone who definitely had a vision for her life. Is my friend Chanel Wills Henderson. She is the founder of Chanel Nicole Company, which is a headshot and personal brand photographer company. And the reason why I said she had a vision is because she worked for many years with me at my past company, and now she is out running her own organization without working for anyone but herself. So if you need a headshot and you're in the Louisville area, you need some photos, check out Chanel Wills Henderson. She's pretty fantabulous.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you for that shout out. D'Angelo, thank you again for being vulnerable. I usually say winging it is for the birds, but we did it today. We do it quite often. And I appreciate you allowing me to have a big vision and finding your place in it. So I appreciate your dedication every day to this, even when you don't want to.
I love you, Oprah.
Oh,
Oprah had a big vision. I mean, Gail just is like, oh, girl, I'm here for the ride. And Gail gets all the benefits of it. So, like I said, I ain't got no problem being like, my vision is your vision, baby. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's ride out. When we hosted the show, pick us up.
I love it. Well, all right, we're going to let y'all go. Y'all have a wonderful day, a happy Tuesday. Thank you again for joining us for another episode of the Black DEIBA Collective Live, another day of D&B with D&B. All right, y'all have a great day. Bye. Thank you.